Okay, thank you, Alicia, and good morning, everyone. I would also say good afternoon, good evening, because I was informed that the participants of today's conference are coming from all over the world. Okay, we used to start this event. I think if some of you maybe here already attended our first few event back then in 2006. Okay, so 2006 is where we started the so-called the movement on the so-called bringing all the architects together. At the time, it was not called BITAS. It was called ITA, IT Architecture Regional Conference, because back then in the 2006, 2007, we are still focusing a lot on the technology. But I think now the architecture itself already evolved, changed. So we rebrand the so-called the IT Architecture Regional Conference as a Business IT Architecture Series Conference. So we do have the event like this annually, and I think we skip a last year event due to the pandemic. But I think now we managed to bring everybody together again, and we make it become a one event that are covering all the countries that we used to run. I mean, in the last, I think, 15 years, during this time is the traveling time, right? So basically is that I remember that we sometimes back to back between one country to another country, like Monday in Indonesia, Tuesday in Thailand, Wednesday in Singapore, Thursday in Hong Kong, Friday in India. It's like this used to be the life in the last 15 years. But I think now with the pandemic, at least we have some positive outcome. We can run this event together, and we have all everybody can listen to the same speakers that we have also managed into the two different tracks. In fact, we have accommodated those Indonesian or Malaysian speaking bahasa in the afternoon track. Yeah, because we have also speakers and so many a lot of the architects, thought leaders, and also practitioners that will share their experience. And of course, you also know that this year the IASA it changed the so-called the branding from the Association for All IT Architects. Now it is called the Business Technology Architect Association. So in fact, this actually is the third rebranding of the IASA itself. I remember back in the 2002, 2003, we used to call ourselves as a software architect, because back then is that the only profession that so-called the generic name to be called architect was a software architect. But again, after we ran the conference, I remember that I ran a so-called the event across India, multiple city, and people actually asking me in the panel session, why you exclude me as the business architect, data architect, or information architect, infrastructure architect? Then from there, IASA changed the name, become IT architects. But I think now, because the movement of the digital transformation, many technology focusing a lot on the business area. So IASA also we rebranded ourselves as the Business Technology Architect Association. And also I think the famous ITABOK, I believe some of you have also certified and attended the training, IT Architecture Body of Knowledge, also has rebranded to become BITABOK, right? Business Technology Architecture Body of Knowledge. I think it's very logical for, after the word A, alphabet A, architect, the next one is B, right? After A is B. So B is coming logically into the so-called architecture, right? Because architecture without the business, I think we deliver little value. And of course, we also acknowledge that many of the so-called nation in the Southeast Asia that already embarked into the national effort to embark into so-called national EA initiative. I think namely like MyGov.EA is the Malaysian government initiative to embark the whole ministry and agency to create a digitally connected government. So I think we can hear from the presenter shortly. And also Indonesia is also in the big ways to embark and launch the national EA framework across the countries. And I know Indonesia is very challenging, got 15,000 islands, and need to be connected all the provinces and all the islands to have all the information shared across all the 35 provinces and islands, and also all the jurisdiction of the government. And of course, India also in the big ways, they have a national EA of the India that has as the movement already started, and the national effort again to connect the whole government into a digitally connected nation. And of course, South Korea, I think South Korea is the pioneer and the motivation, I think, for all of us to embark into the national EA. I think South Korea started like very, very early, like 20 years ago. I think now they are quite advanced. So the rest of the country are now catching up. Yeah, and of course, you know, the Australia and the rest of the European and US countries. So without further ado, I think I also want to appreciate and thank you for our gold sponsor, Aruba, right? I think Aruba, I know this, the team has been sponsoring us at least in the last 10-15 years. So thank you so much for your commitment to support us. Without their support, I think we would not be able to host this event without so-called charging, right? So I think, you know, this event has been free because we have one or two loyal sponsors, right, including the ATD solution. And of course, not to mention, not to forget about all the supporting association, right, AISP, for the information security, because the good thing about architecture is touching across all the discipline and the vertical, right? So the security association, AISP, and then the beyond banking industry architecture network, that one also a very powerful framework for financial services banking to jumpstart into the digital EA, because all the framework, all the meta model are already pre-built and pre-populated based on the so-called industry best practices and contributed by all the banker, right? The architects from the bank industry. And of course, Hong Kong Computer Society, right, is that I've also involved a lot in their event. I think, thank you so much. I think, I know that you just came from holiday, the last 2 days on the Mooncake festival. So SKCS also our partner, and we have been working with them in the last 10 years. And also MDEC, actually MDEC, I would appreciate MDEC for the early support in Malaysia, where MDEC believe in what architecture will bring good to the nation, right? So MDEC has been supporting us, and also I remember in the early days, the CEO of MDEC, and also together with the minister itself, come and grace our event. And of course, PCOM, right? PCOM also the association for computer industry in Malaysia. Also have the CIO chapters, and I think we have the so-called president of the CIO chapters also part in the panelists soon, and also committed in terms of the sponsoring and supporting us in terms of you know, inviting and also spread the news, the importance of architecture. And of course, project management itself association in Singapore. Also, because you know, the challenge of the project manager is that they need to deliver project on time, on budget, and of course successfully. So in the past is that it's very challenging for project manager to rely on the job just by tracking resources and timeline. So they need to be supported by the architecture so-called evidence, right? Architecture works to ensure that architect are so-called involved in the project and the project delivered successfully. And of course, last but not least is the Singapore Computer Society. I think Singapore Computer Society has been very supportive. And of course, there's an EA chapters under Singapore Computer Society. And by the way, Hong Kong Computer Society also has the EA special group. So we used to collaborate together. Okay, so basically we are working closely, even though we are at a different nation, different culture, but when we talk about architecture, we talk the same lingo. That's, I think, the beauty of where we are in, right? So without further ado, I think I will hand over back to Alicia to start the so-called event. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoy and trust you'll be so-called learning a lot through today's event. Thank you.